Okay, get back to the Beatles at My Media Museum. 45 RPM vinyl records from the remaining mixed boxes that we have. This is part two. Be sure to check out part one because I did do these in the order that they were released. So we're picking up here with Get Back. And the B-side of Get Back was Don't Let Me Down. I'm glad you came back for part two. And then this one's quite interesting because I've got two copies of it here, both on the Apple label. But you notice they broke something in half, some dash thing. I think that's kind of weak. I didn't like that. That was the A side, and Come Together was the B side. But I probably wasn't the only person that didn't really think that was cool, because here's a copy on the Apple label with something as one word, not hyphenated, not broken up. And both of them were noted as in stereo, so I don't think there's any difference in the recording. It's just a, in my opinion, corrected label. Unfortunately, I've got some writing, some scribbling on this one, but it does show you the two different labels that were done on the Apple Records label for Something and Come Together. All right, next up we've got The Long and Winding Road from Let It Be. So we're actually, worked our way up to the last album that they recorded. Abbey Road was the last one that came out, but it was actually recorded before Let It Be. So if you don't know that, look into the history of it. B-side here is For You Blue by Old George. All right. And next up, we've got Yesterday. And why that one's coming here at the end is probably just because it's Yesterday and Act Naturally. So we kind of jumped a little bit back. I didn't get that one in the correct sequence. But there you have it anyways. Yesterday and Act Naturally. So now we're moving on to some of the solo work already. At least I do have an Apple sleeve, even if it's pretty dang plain. It's just got the Apple logo there. And Ringo Starr's It Don't Come Easy. I probably covered this one in box 1 to 9. Some of these here in the solo work are repeats from box 1 through 9. But since I was pulling all the Beatles out of my remaining mixed boxes, I wanted to pull out all of the Beatles and redo them here. Early 1970 being the B-side of that one. Next up, we've got some information there noted from a previous collector. And Ringo Starr doing Oh My My, Oh My My. You can boogie if you try. And the B-side of that being Step Lightly. I didn't like the way that was showing through on the first side, so I'm going to show that one more time here so you get a nice clean shot of that label without anything in the background. All right. And then next up, I know I hadn't seen this one before. Well, this is an interesting sleeve too, so let's give us a quick overview of that sleeve, even though it's not really Beatles related. It does have different ones on the different sides. So we'll just do a quick little run through there. I don't think there's any Beatles about it, but for what it's worth. Ringo Starr doing Back Off Boogaloo. And I know I haven't seen this one previously. I was really happy when I come across this. It's like, all right, cool, another Ringo Starr that isn't photographed or Don't Come Easy. And here we've got a B-side of Blind Man. All right, so that's all we've got for Ringo in this batch. Now we got quite a few Georges here in a row. And Isn't It a Pity? I think this was one of it's from All Things Must Pass, so it's definitely, if not his first solo 45, it's probably his second. But Isn't It a Pity with My Sweet Lord? And I remember My Sweet Lord being a big hit for him, and actually I'm thinking more and more that was his first single after leaving the Beatles. And I think I got that flipped. I think it was My Sweet Lord with Isn't It a Pity being on the B-side. In fact, here I've got a second copy of it. It's a little bit darker coloring. I don't know if you noticed that, but see, that's more yellow, that's more green. It's got a little bit of wear, and that's why I picked the other one to show primarily, because it didn't have the wear that this one does. But this one is definitely a different coloring. It's definitely darker. And here we've got another apple sleeve that's barely holding together. It's and it's What Is Life Without You? Another one from All Things Must Pass, which was George's first release after leaving the Beatles. It was a double album release, had a lot of really great songs, a lot of great music on there, and a B-side of that being Apple Scruffs. And if you've never heard All Things Must Pass, do yourself a favor, pick up a copy and give it a listen. Here again, I've got 2 copies of that, What Is Life and Apple Scruffs. No difference, and I'm pretty sure the coloring is pretty close to the same. So, nothing really special to show you there. And next up, we've got George again doing Deep Blue, which isn't one of his songs that I'm real familiar with, to be completely honest. And the B-side of it being Bangladesh. So these aren't 2 of his songs that I'm real familiar with, but I'm sure they're good. They're George. How bad could it be? Now, we've got a nice RCA label there. That doesn't really fit what we've got in hand, but it's colorful, it's psychedelic, it's kind of Beatles era graphics, so I want to take a second to show that off real well. But we've got an early Dark Horse label here, Learning How to Love You from 1976. Dark Horse Records was, of course, George Harrison's label that he created. I'm not sure how many other artists ever did anything on there, or if there were any, but I know it was George's own personal label that he started releasing all his stuff on. And a B-side of that being this song. Neither one of those, again, I'm real familiar with. But the next one up here I know extremely well. Cracker Box Palace, We've Been Expecting You. And that was from a really good album, 33 1/3, and 1976. And the B-side of that, Learning How to Love You. Isn't that interesting? Because didn't we just have Learning How to Love You on a different label? Well, it's still Dark Horse Records, but it's just a plain label. 4/15, so the same timing and a different B-side. Or he just reused it. I think he reused it. I think Learning How to Love You was a single, and then when he put out Cracker Box Palace, he reused that previous single release as the B-side, which isn't unusual. Bands do that all the time. All right, Got My Mind Set on You, which is interesting. He didn't write it. It's Rudy Clark wrote that. But George Harrison, produced by Jeff Lynne of ELO. You know Jeff Lynne. This is probably, again, 1987. This is getting around the time when the Traveling Wilburys had been doing their thing, and they started working together a lot, even on solo material. So it's kind of cool. Got My Mind Set on You was a very good song of his. B-side being Lay His Head, which isn't a song that I'm at all familiar with, to be quite honest. But it's produced by George Harrison and Ray Cooper. So it's interesting that the A-side was produced by Jeff Lynne and the B-side wasn't. All right. So now moving on, we've made it up to the John Lennon portion of our video here. And Nobody Told Me There'd Be Days Like This off of Milk and Honey. And the B-side, of course, being a Yoko O-Sanity song, which, yeah, I'm not a Yoko fan. I did not care for her music. So most of the John Lennons are just one-sided singles to me, because he almost always put that, yet Yoko had that B-side. I'm Stepping Out, good song. Sleepless Night by Yoko, probably not so good. Sorry if you're a Yoko fan. You know, you've heard it all before if you are. Because I'm not the only one that has this attitude about Yoko. All right. A-side here, Whatever Gets You Through the Night by John Lennon with the Plastic Ono Nuclear Band. So that's interesting. And the B-side of that is Beef Jerky. So we got two John Lennons on this one. But you'll notice it's the Nuclear Band with Little Big Horns and Booker Maitre D's. All right. All right, so we're going to wrap this one up with Two Wings. And these are definitely repeats. I know I've covered these in the first 9 boxes. Let 'Em In by Wings, Paul McCartney. And Beware My Love. And I've had a whole lot more, especially Wings, Beatles releases in boxes 1 through 9. So if you're a huge fan of the Beatles and you want to see more of their 45s, go back and watch those mixed boxes videos. You will discover quite a few of them in there if you just have the patience and the desire to spend the time to find them. All right, and here we got Wings with a Little Luck. And the B-side of that being Backwards Traveler and Cufflink. And that wraps up the Beatles that I have from my remaining mixed boxes of 45s. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed the previous videos I've done and the ones that are still yet to come. I love you guys. It's a wonderful world. It is what you make of it. Be happy and enjoy life as much as you can. And have a great day.